Today in the Smuggler's Room, we're talking lasers. Whoa, what are you doing?
What? You said lasers.
I was talking about laser cutters, not laser blasters. You're not gonna do that again, are you? Let's just roll the intro. What's up, you awesome geeks? I'm Brian and welcome to the Smuggler's Room. This week, this chubby geek is gonna answer the question, is a laser engraver worth it? This is a question we get asked often, and I think it's very subjective, but it's also worth trying to answer. So I'm gonna share my love of the tool and the process, and hopefully that will help you out. Let's cover the ugly part first. Lasers are expensive. There, I said it. However, this is only partially true. You see, there's all types and varieties of lasers out there. They come in different sizes, different power ratings, and different prices. It's not much different than other tools. Let's take a table saw, for example. Worksbox makes a table saw that you can buy from the big box store for about 140 bucks. Or you could spend north of $7,000 on a SawStop table saw with all the accessories. So I guess the price conversation is really dependent on what you want or need to get out of a specific tool. The other question you have to ask yourself is, what are you looking for? Do you want a simple diode laser that's low power? Do you want a more high-powered CO2 laser that you can cut a variety of materials with? You really need to know before you purchase what you're expecting the tool to be able to do for you. For our conversation today, I'm going to use our OMTech laser cutter. It's a 60-watt CO2 laser engraver / cutter. Now, for those of you that watch the channel for a long time, you know that we've used a Glowforge Pro in the past. Still have it, still use it, still love it. But this isn't really a conversation about different laser cutters and the comparison. If you want us to do a breakdown of the OMTech versus the Glowforge and give you all the plus and minuses and everything that goes with that, let us know in the comments. I'd be happy to put something like that together. But for today, I'm just going to use the laser cutter as the example machine and get to the heart of the question of whether it's worth it for you. So in order to do that, let's pick a project that we can build. I have been thoroughly enjoying the new Andor series. I love the pace, I love the character development, and I love the build-up. I also really love the environment. So take this screenshot, for example. This is one of the many control panels that you see on Fesk, one of the cities, planets on the show. I like some of the simplistic designs of it, and I want to use this as inspiration to build a panel. I also don't want to just build a control panel. I want to be able to do something quickly. And quickly is the key word here. I'm an impatient person by nature, so the laser cutter really fits my style of work. Now, I say all the time on the channel that you can do a lot of these control panels and different things that we do with styrene or something like MDF. You could print out a template, cut it with a razor blade, or pull out a jigsaw and accomplish much of the same thing. But it will take you a lot longer than if you're using a laser, and speed is very important to me. Speed is pretty cool, right? But how about accuracy? That's super important as well. You see, people like my father, the Junkyard Jedi, could pull out a jigsaw, whip out a shape, and it'd be perfect in no time. That's not me. I can't do that. I'm horrible when it comes to tools like that. So the laser cutter is another way I can achieve accuracy. And I'm not talking about a little accuracy. I'm talking about bullseyeing a womp rat from a T16 back home kind of accuracy. The precision I can achieve with the laser cutter allows me to design things in a way that I know I couldn't cut by hand, or at least not without spending days or weeks getting that cut. And what about the design process? And what I mean is, what are you most comfortable doing for design? Some people are right at home doing sketches. Other people 3D model, and I feel very comfortable when I'm in Adobe Illustrator working in a 2D environment. I can work really quickly like this, and I can also make multiple revisions in a very short span of time. Equally, it allows me to export the files in a .svg format, which is very conducive to working with a laser engraver or a cutter. This is a good moment to pause and point out that software is very important when it comes to working with a laser. You need to be able to use certain file formats in order to be successful. So for example, Adobe Illustrator to create the SVG files, but also things like Inkscape or AutoCAD, something along those lines. If you're one of those people that are very comfortable learning new types of software, then laser engraving and cutting may not be very hard for you. However, if you're on the flip side and you're one of those that it takes a while to grasp it, then this could be somewhat of a challenge to get to where you want. Okay, let's take this panel that we're working on today. I was able to go into Illustrator and create all the files that I wanted for the design, and then I was able to use the laser to cut all those pieces out accurately and individually. I can then take this super sweet box that Corey Rowland from the Room Builders group turned me on to. He built this awesome project with it, and I'll link both his build and the box in the description below so you can check it out as well as pick up one for yourself. I can then take the cut pieces and add them to the top lid and use the box as my base. What I've found about using the laser cutter is that I can combine what it creates with other objects, making my panel fit within the size of this back box, for example. Then I can simply modify the box by drilling and cutting holes in it, paint it, and I'm ready to move on with my panel work. Another aspect of this tool that I love is being able to use it to help with masking when it comes to paint. For example, on this build, I was able to determine what aspects I would want to keep black and what part I wanted painted. Then peel back the areas I want to paint, and that left the protective paper on all the areas I want to remain black. Then once I'm done, I can peel away the remaining paper and boom, perfectly masked details. I just cut my paint time down and I gained a bit more proficiency on my project. This project's pretty specific. I mean, we're building a Star Wars control panel. But I can tell you that we've used the laser cutter for so many more things and more materials. In the 3D printing world, there are folks that use their printers to solve everyday problems. And I treat the laser cutter in much the same way. Now, I also mentioned early on in the video that I had a couple of resources I wanted to share with you. And the first is my good friend Ron, also known as the CG-Rtist. And today, he's uploaded a video on how to design control panels.
Hey guys, head on over to my channel and I'll show you how to use Lightburn to design this control panel. I also make mention of some traditional tools just in case you don't have a laser. So I'll see you there.
This is perfect for laser work, or even with more traditional hand tools. It's a full tutorial with a ton of great information. I have his channel and the links below, so go have a look and you'll be designing your panels in no time. The other resource is really specific around the different types of lasers and brands that are available. The channel is Make or Break Shop, and Brandon does a wonderful job of sharing information, reviews, and so much more on so many lasers. If you're in the market for a laser, that's the place to be if you want to get educated. Okay, let's finish up the talk today by focusing on the project we're working on. One of my motives for this build was indeed to have a cool panel. The other is I wanted to see how quickly I could put it together. You see, leading into this week, I've been on the road for my day job and things have been crazy busy. When that happens, I often find relief working in the shop. However, right now we have several large projects going on and I only had a single day to spend in the shop. When that happens, I love finding something that I can build and finish quickly. So what does that have to do with whether or not a laser cutter is worth it? Well, in this scenario, if I want to finish a project, I need something that it can be extremely accurate and very fast, or I'm not going to get anything done. So I sat down to design, build, and finish this project in a single day. From opening the Adobe Illustrator program to putting these final touches of weathering on the panel, I was able to knock out this project in 7 hours and 43 minutes. That's pretty fast, and it includes drying time for the paint and the electronics. Speaking of electronics, I'm not going to share what they are or where I found them. I've wired them up correctly, I'm using the correct power supply, and even with all of that, these LEDs are hot enough that they're about to melt the plastic on the back of the box. I'm not sure if I'm doing something wrong or if there's something inherently wrong with them, but I don't want to share that with you and have you with any unfortunate situations. So, what do you think about the project? Pretty cool panel, huh? I like it. More importantly though, what do you think about lasers? Specifically, your want or need of them. Do you think it might be worth it? I know today's been sort of different, and I'm not trying to pitch you on buying a laser or convincing you it's what you need. But we've been asked enough about it that I wanted to take a few minutes to basically discuss why we have them and why we love them. Some makers rely heavily on 3D printers. Others are machinists and they use a metal lathe. You have welders, woodworkers, and the list goes on and on. I think at the end of the day, you need to determine what are the types of projects that you want to do and what tools do you invest money in to be able to help you achieve those projects faster and more efficient. I've mentioned speed a lot today, and it's not all about how fast you can get something done. For me, it's how quickly can I get from one step to the other with as much precision as I can, so ultimately I end up with the type of project I'm after. I certainly hope this was valuable for you today. And at the end of the day, if it's the right tool for you and it helps you get the projects you want to make complete, well, then I guess you're right on your way to building something out of nothing.
I thought you said laser beams. That was totally different.